So I'm going to show you really quick a second how to create these major and minor scales and how to show relative major minor. And if you see here it says relative major and minor cheat sheet. I'm going to send this to you as well. But I'm going to put it into our Google Drive for you so that way you have it. Anyway, what I want to show you is here's a C major scale, and if you ever listened to a C major scale before or a major scale, I'll just play it for you, and it has a more of a bright feel and happy. Okay, so if you watch my videos that I sent you earlier to the YouTube spot showing you how to create the major scales, I think that's your first step you need to do is learn the whole half steps, and also you can build any scale you want with that type of technique. Now, to make what we call as a relative scale, which means that it has the same key signature. If you notice here, there's no flats or sharps. In fact, there's a natural sign in here which shows that there's nothing supposed to be here. Your C major scale has no flats or sharps. Now, to make a minor, relative minor scale, what you're going to do is you're going to start with your C. Don't count that as number one, but notice here it's right here, it's in green. Okay, if I go down 3/2 steps, which is 1, 2, 3, and that brings me to A, well, we call it A3, but it's the A below the middle C. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go down to this line here, and I'm going to create a minor scale here. So if I have a C, right, that's a C. If I make it a half step lower, it's a B, right there. If I make that a half step lower, it's going to be a V flat, so I'm going to add a flat. Now I'm on this flat, if you can see, and I'm actually going to lower it a half step one more time, and now I'm on my A. I went down 3/2 steps from C, not counting C, so 1, 2, 3. Now what I'm going to do is it's simple. I'm going to use all the notes that are in my C major scale, but I'm going to start and end on A instead. So if you see, here's an A, but I can throw it down an octave, so I have an A. What's the next letter in the alphabet? It's a B. I got a C, D, E, F, G, A. And there we go. So there's my A minor scale. It's called a natural minor, but it's one of the 3 minor scales that's most related to the major scale. So basically all I did is use all the notes in my C scale, but I lowered it 3/2 steps from the C. I started and ended on the A now, and that is my minor scale. So that's how you can figure that out. So here's my C major right here. If you notice, there it is on the cheat sheet. The major is on the left side, and the relative minor is A minor. So there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this. I'm going to do another one. So let's try another one. If I have a G major scale, it starts and ends. I'm going to do my major up here. It starts and ends on here. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. I'm going to change that F sharp. So I'm going to actually go back to F, put a sharp sign in there. It's an F sharp now. And then I end with G. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And now to find that minor scale, here's my G4. And so I'm going to go down 3/2 steps. 1, 2, 3. And this is why you need to have your keyboard out for you to watch and help you as you do this so you can actually play and hear it. So from the G, don't count the G, but you go 1, that's an F sharp, 2, F, 3 is E. So E is your starting note for your minor scale. So I'm going to go down here and click on the E. There's my E minor, and I'm just going to simply use all the same notes, including that F sharp of the G major scale, but I'm going to start and end on E. And if you look here, sure enough, there it is, E minor. So I have F sharp, and I'm going to make that into a sharp. Then I have a G, A, B, C, D, E. So if I played this scale, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. That is an E minor scale. It is the relative minor to G major. And why? Because remember I talked about relatives have bloodlines. You have the same blood in this G major scale as the E minor scale. It's basically playing a G major scale, but starting and ending on E. That's what it is. And all the scales work that way. Now, there's another way that you could actually turn a major scale into a minor scale. And I'm going to redraw this C major scale. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All right. There's another way to do it. It's called a parallel minor scale. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do a couple of tricks. To make it a minor scale, you're going to lower the third degree. Remember, the word degree means the third note of the scale. So I'm going to turn that into a minor or lowered third. So I'm going to add a flat there. And now I'm going to lower the sixth note, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to flat it. Lower the seventh note, flat it. And now I have my eighth note with the octave. So now I have actually created what we call as a parallel C minor scale. Why parallel? Because two parallel lines, you could say they start and end in the same place and they don't cross over. Well, what this is it starts and ends on a C. However, what I did is I lowered the third, sixth, and seventh, and this actually C minor, if you look, the relative major is an E flat major, which has 3 flats. So again, that's its relative, but I created a minor scale simply from a major scale by lowering the third, sixth, and seventh notes. And now if you listen to that, it sounds like this. And that sounds more colorful, more somber, more sad, a lot of people say. But that's when you lower the third, sixth, and seventh of a major scale, and it creates a minor scale. So I hope this helps. If you have any more questions, let me know. But I think it's up to you now to really watch those videos I sent earlier and also start working on these major scales and then learn how the minor scales work with it, because that's how you're going to be able to make that worksheet that asks for those major and minor scales.